Okay, these are the core class Dinobots. Not all of them, because Sludge and what's his name? Sludge and I can't remember his name. I'll put it right here. But yeah, they're too expensive right now, so I'm waiting till they get, hopefully resold, which is what I think they're gonna do to like make these guys more available. Cause other than Grimlock, I believe on Amazon, these guys are extremely hard to get. For normal price, of course. You can get them for their overpriced price, but they're really overpriced. They're like double, but they're cheap. Anyways, um, these guys are pretty fun. They're a combiner, of course, to Volcanicus, but because I don't have the core robot, I'm gonna have to use tow line in order to show off that feature. But I just want to get every single figure done by itself first. So, I mean, let's start off. I'm gonna start off from worst to best, and we'll go from there. So, let's start with the absolute worst. What? Grimlock. So, Grimlock is fine. Like, I wouldn't say he's the worst thing in the world, but he's just fine. Let's get rid of his accessory. Just to look at the core robot. So he's a bit small. Sorry. So I'll hold him a little bit closer. He's got really nice paint apps, which goes for all these Dinobots. Really, they have nice paint apps, except the one of them. But yeah, the gold is really nice, and the red is there. It's not too prominent. His head sculpt is pretty sweet. Focus, please. There we go. Yeah, his head sculpt is pretty nice. It's pretty detailed. His legs are really hollow though. Just like you can fit your whole finger in there. Come on, focus. Sorry about that autofocus. So yeah, he's pretty hollow, as I was saying. For articulation, he has a ball joint in the wrist, so you can go the full 360, except he kind of gets blocked a little bit. So that's kind of annoying. These things can move out of the way, so you can just kind of move it. Sorry if it's just my hands are completely blocking this. He's kind of small, so yeah. He has no arm articulation, so nothing, no elbow bend or anything. He has wrist articulation, so he can swivel the whole way, mostly for transformation. He can kick up to that far. He can kick back to that far. And he's got a pretty sweet knee bend. Yeah, that's about everything about him, to be honest. So, for transformation, it's pretty simple. You want to plug in his legs together, just like that. You want to make his legs face forward. Then you want to bend them down. Then you want to take this entire part and you want to close up the chest and cover his head, bring down his head. Then make sure this peg is flipped up here. Then what you want to do is going to bring his legs all the way around and then plug it in. Then you want to bring back his accessory and plug it in. And there you have him in Dinobot mode, which honestly I think is his better mode. Nothing is articulated other than his head can move up and down, and his arms, his legs, sorry, can move around. He's a bit of a chunky boy in the tail, and for some reason, this is painted in like a light silver, while this is like normal plastic. I don't know why they painted this. It makes a weird color separation, which I don't like. But other than that, he's pretty cool. I'll do a size comparison with all of them at the end. So let's move on to my next least favorite one. So third place, we have Snarl, I think. I'll put it up here. I'm not good with the Dinobots, to be honest. I don't know why. Their names are just so similar. But Snarl, he's a weird one. So his gold, because he has so much of it, is just yellow mustard plastic, which I don't really like. Um, yeah, he is really different to the other ones, and yeah, he's the only one with a melee weapon, which pretty weird to be honest. Uh, I mean, if they all had it, it would make sense, but um, he has nice silver paint for some reason. I would have preferred gray and then gold, but you know. He's got this nice backpack that's painted that can come off mostly for the combined mode, which I'll show off at the end. Um, yeah, his head sculpt is pretty nice. Got that weird chin one, and for articulation, he's got a ball joint, so he can go up that far. He kind of gets blocked by his tail. Blocked again. He has an over 90-degree bend in the elbow, so that's new. Nothing out of the wrist. He can kick up to that far. He can kick back to that far. And he has a nice knee bend. That's a little bit over 90. And he only has a swivel at the head, which goes for the same with Grimlock. I forgot to show that. To stow away his sword, you can just plug it into his back. And that's his, like, you know, if you don't want to hold it. And he's got a butterfly joint. I forgot to say that with the Grimlock as well. Most of these have butterfly joints, which is weird, but, you know. It's nice, especially since he's a sword wielder. But since he has no wrist articulation, he's also a weird sword holder, so... Okay. So, let's move on to transformation. So, to transform Snarl, you first want to do is you want to take his head, turn it around, and then close the tail. Just like that. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to knee bend. And then you're going to want to take his head, which is back there, and plug it forward. Same on this side. See the head? There you go. Then plug it together, just like that. Then you want to move his hands out of the way, and then kind of push his leg. It's going to feel like it's going to stop. Once you feel like it's going to stop, you want to push his knees together so it kind of snaps into place, and then snap it into his back. Then what you're going to want to do is take his arms, bend them all the way, then take this little, come on focus, take this little peg and plug it into that, here let me use this sword. You're going to want to take this hole and plug it into that peg, and if you do that, you should get that effect. Do the same on the other side, and there's his Dinobot mode. Honestly, my least favorite Dinobot mode, he looks way better in robot mode. So he has a syndrome where you can totally see his hands in the back. In the front, he kind of just looks like he's sniffing the floor, and his head doesn't like to stay together sometimes. But other than that, he's okay. To store his sword, you're going to want to take the sword and peg it underneath, just like this. And there's your thing. And, I mean, not much to say. He has no articulation, so he's just a block. So, yeah. That was Snarl. Let's go with my next one. Scar. This one I wasn't expecting. I guess they needed 6 for more. I think it was to make the Triceratops guy. I'll put his name again. And Sludge, and I don't know what I'm trying. So them two are the chest for some reason. So I guess they needed a 6-1 to be another arm, and I guess they just chose the medic, Scar. He has a weapon, I guess. It's just a hand, like, and it's giving you the finger, so, you know. I have some complaints about that hand in a combined mode, but I'll get to that later. Yeah, he has some colors. That's about it. So, the gold and the red here, and the silver and the gold here, and then his head in the back. Yeah, tell me in the comments, is he supposed to be like this? Or is the configuration supposed to be like that? Because I honestly can't tell. Both ways look pretty good. Actually, I might keep it like this. For articulation, he has a ball joint in his shoulder right there. So he can do the full 360. He has no wrist articulation and no elbow bend. He can kick up to this far. He can kick back to that far. Whoa. Yeah. And then he's got a knee bend, which is over 90. But he is a little bit loose in the waist swivel. Wait, did everyone else have a waist swivel? Snarl did and Grimlock did. Okay, everyone has a waist swivel. I'm sorry about that. He's got a nice head swivel. Nothing up and down in the head. I don't think I'm forgetting anything this time. Yeah, that's basically his robot mode. Not much to. Oh yeah, he has a butterfly joint in his arm, so he can do some nice poses. To think this guy's a medic is pretty funny, to be honest, since he's so bulky. I would think he's more of a defense, but you know, pretty fun. But let's get into transformation. So what you're gonna want to do is plug in his legs together and then spin it around so you see the back part. And you want to take this butterfly joint. You want to make sure his arms are popped forward, not backwards. So like this. And then plug it to the front. Do the same on the other side. So plug it forward. Then snap it together. Then take his head and push it up just like that. Then take his arms and then make sure the peg is plugged into this hole right here. So just like that, how it was. Then you want to take his legs and bend them back. Here, I didn't show that very well. Just like that. And then you want to take his legs, bring it back, bring back his feet, and then take his weapon and then plug it into his butt. And there you go. His mode. It's pretty cute. There's more articulation, so you can have leg bends on both sides. And you can turn his tail side to side, I guess, if you want that. You can technically move his head down, but that shows his head, so I like to keep it up. But he's pretty fun, pretty cute. I don't think anything else is new, so let's move on to my favorite Dinobot, which is Dinobot Swoop. So, his wings are transformed wrong. So Swoop is weird. It feels like all the budget from the other ones just went into this, because he's just a hand, but his articulation is insane, but I'll get to that in a second. Color-wise, his head is completely painted. Almost no, like, bare plastic showing at all. He has some nice blues, some nice gold. He's got a hinge right here, but it's okay. His leg is completely painted. It's cast out of white plastic, but completely painted. It's pretty hollow. So, yeah. I mean, depends how bad you want that. I mean, they're core class, so they're all going to be hollow. His guns are way better because they are hands, but because they're split apart, it's hard to tell that they're hands at a distance. They kind of just look like blasters, so that's pretty nice. For articulation, he's got a ball joint that gets blocked by his wings both ways. He's got an elbow bend, a little bit over 90. No wrist swivel. His head is extremely posable since it's on a ball joint, which none of the other ones are. So that's pretty nice. He can look up astronomically. Ball joint shows, though. He can't look down very far. For his legs, he's got a kick that far and a back kick that far. Then his legs go way over 90. I believe almost 180. So that's pretty nice for a core class. He's got a thigh swivel. So yeah, and no ankle tilts. So that's pretty fun. Yeah. So he's just a really fun core class to just kind of have around and play around with. He reminds me of, I can't remember his name right now. Thundercracker. Thundercracker? No, not Thundercracker. Skywarp. Except with more articulation, even though he's technically a triple changer. So that's fun. Let's hop into transformation then. So for transformation, it's pretty easy actually. You're going to want to peg his legs together, just like that. You want to take his head and push it forward. And then you're going to want to take this arm and peg this hole right here into that peg. And while you're doing that, you want to pick this peg and put it into that hole up here. So you just want to do that really quick, just like that. Do the same on the other side. So you should get a stick, basically. Then what you want to do is flail out the wing. Ooh, he does have this tendency to break off his wings, but it's pretty easy to pop back in. So I just be careful with it. So just pop out his wings and then bend his knees completely around and plug it in. Then take his head and flail it out, and there you go. That's him in his pterodactyl mode. Really nice. His legs are a bit showing, but hey, it's a core class. What are you gonna do? Yeah, not much else that's new about this in Dinobot mode. For weapon storage in his Dinobot mode, since he doesn't use these as tails like the other ones, you have to plug them into these plugs in the wings, which I don't like very much because it gives him a weird look, like he's a bit more chunky and stuff, and it works as blasters. But what I prefer to do is I prefer to just keep them in his hands. Whoop. Sorry, yet again, he's just tiny. So just keep him in his hands, just like that. And then, yeah, gives him more balance. And I think if you had some blast effects, I don't know if you can plug them in, but they kind of work as just normal blast effects, and you could just fly around. But yeah, that's swoop. Let's get the other Dinobots in here, because I want to show off what I can of the combined mode. Just, I need to grab what I need. Okay, so we have here Tolan. So I'm just going to use him for the core since I don't have Sludge or the Triceratops. So yeah, just going to unplug his legs and move his arms out of the way. So, okay. I think I'm going to start with the worst legs and stuff, and then I'll start with the better ones. So, I'm just going to keep them here. Let's start with Slag. I don't know what his name is. I don't know why I try. So, what you're going to want to do is basically unplug his arms, take out his sword, and then unclip his body, just like that, and then remove his back for now. Then what you're going to want to do is take this peg, lift it up, just like that, and then you're going to want to take his body and move it all the way around and peg it into these holes till you get, oh, I forgot, my bad. You're going to want to put his head in first, and then plug them back in, and then plug it into there. Just like that. Then what you're going to want to do is take his arms and plug them in right here, and then plug the other one, so you get this. And then you're going to want to take his backpack and plug it into his front part. And then you want to take his sword and plug it into the front. Just like that. And that's a leg. A pretty underwhelming leg, but well, I'll talk about it more when you get it all combined. Grimlock's a little bit more easy, so you're going to take his legs and make his hands face forward. Sorry about that. So you want to take his arms and make them face forward just like this. Then you want to unplug his tail, and you're going to move his legs so they're facing forward, just like that. And then you're going to want to take his body, unplug it, and then make his head go down, and then bring this side forward just like this, and then plug it in right there. And then you want to take his tail and plug it into the back right here, just like that, with the hollow side up. That's the other leg. So let's get these guys plugged in really quick. So I'll just blop. They don't plug in too well into him, but I won't dock them for that since they weren't really meant to. Let's get this hand. So you're going to want to unplug his hand, unplug his legs, turn around his torso, and then just replug in everything. Then undo this and just leave it like that. And then take his legs and flip them all the way around, just like that. and then take his hand and plug it right here, if you can see that. Just plug it in here. Whoop. So, yeah, this is a problem I have with this figure. His hand just does not want to plug in. Like. So, I usually get a rubber band and, like, plug it in. But, yeah, I don't have it right now. It broke. So yeah, we'll just lightly put it there. Then we'll take Swoop, which is the best hand. Just the best figure. You're going to unplug his legs, bring him down. Unplug his hands. And then take his other hands and also unplug them. They unplugged for me. And then you want to take his torso. And then the instructions just has you place them back where they were, but they kind of get in the way. So I like to put his hands like this. And then plug his wings back in. And then take his hands, and you're going to want to plug them together so they form one hand. And then you're going to want to plug them into his legs, just like that. And then you're going to take this peg and unfold it out like that. Then you're going to want to plug it into here, just like this. Whoa. Again, he doesn't really hold them very well. But he wasn't supposed to, so I don't mind it. So plug him into here. Let's plug Grimlock back in. And yeah, that's all the characters. So ignoring the main character together. So Swoop is fantastic. He looks like an arm. Scar, he looks like an arm, but the hand just keeps falling off. So, and then Grimlock does not look like a leg, and this guy does not look like a leg, and he like the red is really weird compared to the thing. I'd have to see them all together, but I've seen that this red doesn't really blend in with the whole robot since there's so much red. But again, I don't have the full figure, so I can't say that for certain. But yeah, there they are all together. I don't like it very much. But yeah, let's get these guys into robot mode and do our size comparisons. So let me get that really quick. Alright. So now they're all in robot mode. Let's get them all stand up. This is going to be tricky. I'm just going to have them stand kind of over here. Then we'll do the size comparison all at the same time. So, okay, they're about straight. Okay. So for our first size comparison, let's get in Deluxe Class Bumblebee, which, less a knock on them, but a knock on Bumblebee for being so sticking small. But yeah, that's that comparison. Let's get Leader Class Armada Megatron, which makes these guys look tiny, which they are. For another comparison, let's get Deluxe Size Jazz right here, which, yeah, I mean, they scale pretty. I don't know why I said they scaled. They don't scale at all. And then let's get in the main Moncho, Leader Class Optimus. Leader Class Optimus, scale-wise Voyager. And then for a final comparison, let's get in Core Class Skywarp, which is pretty weird since these are all triple changes, and I think they're almost all taller than Skywarp, except maybe Scar and Grimlock. But I wanted to go more in depth with them each other. Out of all the characters, okay, this is new. I didn't realize how much he falls. Come on. Here, let me just. Okay. Out of all the characters, if you were to get one, get Swoop, and just forget about the rest. I will make a in-depth review about Volcanicus if I ever do get Sludge and the other guy. But yeah, that was my review on 4 Dinobots. Pretty fun, honestly. Just yeah, they are core class, so they do have compromises, and they're triple changer core classes. Which, yeah, I honestly want to see another one of these being done. I want to see core class. What's his name? Uh, Metro. No, not Metroplex. What's the combiner? The Constructicons. I don't remember the big guy's name. I guess I'm just not a true Transformers fan, but that guy with all core class, honestly, I would buy on the spot. And there's a lot of extra guys, so it would work pretty well. And to have the Dinobots fight them, pretty nice. And I heard they're gonna try and re-release all these guys. I really hope it's not a multi-pack, because if it is a multi-pack, then I have to give these guys away and then buy the multi-pack by itself. If I did have to give these guys away, I'm probably gonna give it to my friend. You know who you are. But yeah, so I got nothing else to say. Bye.